Transforming the sound of boring afternoon radio. Richard Madeley in for Matthew Wright on Talk Radio.
All together now.
And now for something completely different.
Yes. Let's lighten the tone. Today marks the start of Chinese New Year, and to welcome the Year of the Pig, more than 1 billion people around the world have begun celebrating already. Food, fireworks, performances across Asia will mark the annual Lunar New Year. The pig is believed to be a symbol of optimism, enthusiasm, and being hardworking. Well, somebody who can talk us through the different food to eat for Chinese New Year is celebrity chef Ken Hom, OBE, who joins us here in the studio. What will you be having for your tea tonight, Ken?
Gong hei fa choi to everyone.
Kung hai fa choi.
Well, absolutely, I'm going to have fish because fish is a symbol of prosperity, and we all like to be prosperous. We're going to have noodles because noodles are a symbol of longevity. And what I loved about eating noodles when I was a child is in Chinese, you can slurp. Because you're admonished not to break the noodles because you don't want to cut your life short. So when you're a kid, you're going, oh, it's great. And do you know how in a British household they say, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't make noise.
Yeah.
In Chinese, it's just the opposite. You can make as much noise as you want. I mean, I love growing up Chinese because you can make noise while you eat and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of symbolism, too, because if you have a whole fish in Chinese New Year, it's the head is pointed at the guest of honor, or someone who is the oldest. In this case, it's me now.
So the senior person at the table gets the fish head.
Right.
Eyeballing
the fish face, the fish face. And the thing is, you're told to give the best meat of the fish, which is the cheek meat, to your mom, because that's the best. And, there's things like that. For instance, we eat chicken because it's fortune. We eat a lot of dumplings because they're like coins. What I loved about growing up in Chinese New Year is that when you say to someone as a child, Gong hei fa choi, they're allowed, they must give you an envelope with some money. And I was very good as a child because I knew who to hit and who was cheap. So I would go to the ones that really were generous and kept saying Gong hei fa choi, and they would still give me this money. It was great.
But your answer surprised me. I figured that as it's Year of the Pig, you'd be saying you'd be having some kind of pork dish tonight. But no.
Yes, we would have pork dishes. Actually, I think New Year's is like the Christmas holidays here in this country. It's an excuse to just eat and overindulge. I mean, all these, like for instance, you're supposed to eat this smoked oyster, which is delicious with seaweed because it means good things to come. Okay. See, it's all that, and you just eat dish after dish, and it's wonderful.
What about the animal thing? I gather there were 12 animals.
Yeah, there were 12 animals.
Is it a precise rotation?
Well,
how do you know which?
Yes, because the next animal, the pig is the last, and the first animal was the rat. We're not going to be eating rat next year.
So it's over a 12-year cycle.
Yes, 12-year cycle.
It's interesting, these echoes, isn't it, of these cultural crossovers. I mean, we, of course, have the 12 star signs.
Yes.
But it's 12. It's not
12,
13 or 15.
exactly.
It's 12. And you have the 12 animals to symbolise the new year. As you mentioned Christmas, but, of course, Christmas is an add-on to the much, much older festival of New Year. And although the solstice, the winter solstice, which is a sun festival, takes place on around about the 21st, 22nd of December, and we actually carry on for another week, and then we have our New Year. It really is. It's a winter solstice celebration. But yours is a lunar it's a lunar celebration.
Right. And it's funny because it changes every year. Of course, the moon changes all the time. And it's probably, they said, it's the biggest human migration, a movement in the world, because over 600 million people, which is a lot.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, come home for New Year.
Yes, they come home for New Year. Wow. Time to celebrate. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons why the Chinese government has done all these fast trains, because they have to move all these people. And apparently it's really quite efficient. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, but I have friends that tell me they go and visit, for instance, from Hong Kong to Guangzhou, which is the area which my family comes from. It used to take 3 hours and 20 minutes. The new fast train, 40 minutes.
Wow, that's fast.
Wow, that takes you from Oxford to London.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, it's extraordinary.
It's extraordinary. Yeah.
What is your if you like ethnic background in terms of when did your family, your ancestors come to this country? When did you come to this country? I don't know anything about you in that sense.
After all these years?
No, I don't. I just suddenly realised I don't know.
Well,
You've just always been here.
Actually, believe it or not, I was made in China, and I
You were
found
conceived
that out.
there.
No, yeah. But when my mom passed away, she was already almost 6 months pregnant with me, and my dad brought her over. He was a GI in the American Army, and bought my mother up, fell in love, and all that kind of thing. It's quite romantic.
Yeah.
And actually, my book is coming out about my life in Chinese this year, and they're talking perhaps about making a film of it, which
Wow.
I just want to choose. No, in Chinese. I just want to pick who plays me.
So hang on.
It's got to be cute.
So your dad was an American serviceman stationed in China.
Right. He was Chinese.
Oh, he was
And,
Chinese.
Yeah, he was
right.
Chinese, and his family had immigrated to America, and then he fought in the war. And so, remember, you could bring over a war bride. So he went to China, met my mom, fell in love, brought her over, and unfortunately, there's a tragedy because when I was 8 months old, he passed away of a heart attack. So my mom never spoke English. I mean, she spoke about maybe 50 words of English. And then I came to this country in 1971. Boy, was food different.
Where had you been living before you came
I
here?
was living in California.
Which part of California?
I was studying at the university. I was a hippie.
And did you live in Chinatown?
No, I didn't live in Chinatown. I lived in Berkeley, California.
Right.
I was a real hippie.
Still got the long hair, I see.
No, well, actually, it's nice not having hair. It's less work.
And why did you come to the UK from LA?
Because I wanted to. The Beatles and Carnaby Street. I mean, it
Swing
was,
in London.
Swing in London. And, I wanted to swing, man.
And presumably, having got here, you fell in love with us, did you?
Oh, yes, of course. And it's been a mutual love affair. And it's funny because, I love this country, and I love to do whatever I can to help in a lot of things, which I'm involved in a lot of charities and things like that, because I want to give back all the love that this country has given me.
Well, it's sincere love. We adore you. We think you're fantastic. I should say that Ken is a judge at the Golden Chopsticks Awards, which recognises Oriental cuisine across the UK, and that's taking place in London at the Marriott Hotel in Grosvenor Square on Monday, the 29th of April this year, 2019. Kung Hai Fatoi.
Kung Hei Fa Choi. Your accent's getting good.
Well, you see, I first met you when Judy and I were doing This Morning.
I remember.
Back in about 1989, 1990.
No, way before. I think... when did you start this
Well, we
morning?
started this morning in 88, so it would have been late 80s. But I remember you giving us a masterclass in quite a few Chinese phrases.
How does it go? Kung
Hai Fatoi.
And you know what? He hasn't changed. That's not fair.
No, he never gets older, does he?
I want to know your
He's
secret.
got a portrait in his attic, trust me.
I just get the fish head pointing at me. That's how I do it. All right, then. It's just gone 3 o'clock. Still to come on the Matthew Wright Show with me, Richard Madeley. It's the radio surgery with Dr. Ellie Cannon, and we'll be discussing the ongoing row over the BBC licence fees for the over 75s. We'll also talking about what's going on in Venezuela. And Eamon Holmes is back from 4 p.m. with Fred from First Dates discussing his new TV show. But it's the news next.
Talk Radio.